Bikepacking is the best way to travel and see the world, but some of the specialized bags and equipment can be quite expensive. In this video, I'll discuss one of the ways I carry gear on my bike that costs very little money. Now, I will say that I've used many nice expensive bags designed by the major brands in the space, and I would definitely recommend many of them. They are built very well, are durable, lightweight, and fairly user-friendly. They are quite pricey though, and there are circumstances where spending $200 to $300 or more on a bag is not on the cards. There is one method I use to carry my gear that uses very cheap and easy to find supplies. In order to go bikepacking, all I need is a waterproof container for my gear and a way to attach it to my bike. Some people literally sew their own bags, and if you have the skills to do that, by all means go for it, and maybe send me one too. For the rest of us, there's a cheap workaround to avoid paying for expensive bags, and it consists of just two things: a dry bag and a sturdy strap. Dry bags are easy to find and tend to be super cheap. The two main types I've used are the tiny foldable ones like these, and more rigid, thicker ones people typically use for water sports like these. The small, thin ones are easier to pack and squeeze the air out of for a tighter fit, but they are very thin and much easier to puncture than the thicker ones. My preference is to use the thick ones because they are less likely to get damaged after heavy use. The straps I like to use are these strong and sturdy Valet straps. I've sang their praises a few times already, but even though they cost a little more than certain other straps, they're one of the things that reinforces the statement, buy nice or buy twice. I find them to be particularly strong and they won't wear out like some of the other cheaper bungees out there. I recently used this system on a trip through the Mexican states of Yucatan and Campeche. I rented a bike for the trip and decided not to lug any of my nice fancy bags along from home. Instead, I just brought a large dry bag and a long strap with me. There are a few ways to attach the bag with the strap to almost any bike. The process is considerably easier if the bike has a rack like the one I rented in Mexico did. Racks do make it easier but are not entirely required, and I'll show some mounting options without them later on. The dry bag comes with a clasp that can be wrapped around the seat post like so, but a better idea is to wrap it around the front of the rack like this to move it a little further back and avoid hitting it with your legs when you pedal. Then a strap is applied to the top to keep everything firmly in place. And that's it. The whole process takes under a minute to put on and take off. The bag I'm using here is a 20-liter, which provides one large storage area for easy packing. I've also used this 10-liter version on a smaller front rack attached the same way. Unlike many bikepacking specific bags which have awkward shaped compartments and have to be packed exactly right, this system offers one large cylindrical space which makes packing easy. Here's an example of my 20-liter bag packed. I was able to get my 50-degree sleeping bag, one-person tent, inflatable sleeping pad, and a packable quilt inside with some room to spare for smaller items. It's not quite as quick to attach and remove as a set of panniers, but it isn't super labor-intensive either. If you don't have a rack on your bike, there are a few mounting options for this setup as well. You can make a makeshift seat post bag by attaching the bag to the seat post like this. I wouldn't do this with an enormous 20-liter bag, but a 10-liter or so bag should work fine. A dry bag can also be attached to the handlebars, though it would take a little extra effort to set up depending on how your cables are run and what other front of bike attachments you may have. There's a bunch of other places along the frame you can try if you're not running a rack, especially if you're using a smaller dry bag. A basket can also be a great way to carry lots of stuff without breaking the bank, and a dry bag inside the basket would keep everything dry and secure. Lastly, if you have a folding bike, you can make use of the funky geometry and attach a dry bag a few different ways. All in all, I was a fan of this system on my recent Mexico trip. It was easier to pack than most bikepacking bags, and removal was quick and easy as well. It was a warm weather trip, so I didn't need to carry very much, and most of everything I brought fit inside the dry bag. The straps and dry bag weigh very little and take up almost no space when not in use. It's a great way to get started if you're just getting into bikepacking, but is also a good option if you're renting a bike and don't want to bring your bags from home. Another nice thing is this setup can be moved effortlessly between bikes, unlike nicer bikepacking bags which take a bit of effort to set up just right. Let me know if you tried this setup or any other hacks to carry gear safely without spending a lot of money. Thanks for watching.